The journey to master any programming language or a scripting language begins by learning to say hello world. We will follow the norm and build a simple hello world application. The application will have a button which when clicked will display a simple hello world message. Now I do understand that this application has no real world or production significance, but it does give us an opportunity for us to see how simple it is to build a GUI application using Sapiens PowerShell Studio 2015. As Sans has proved it, to work with an application we need to launch it first. So let's go ahead and launch PowerShell Studio 2015. Next, we'll create a new GUI form. Note the extension of the form, it ends with a .psf extension which stands for PowerShell Studio form. PowerShell Studio then offers you with some pre-configured templates that you can use to build your GUI form. We'll work with these templates in subsequent courses. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'll choose an empty form and then click on Select. Next, I'll drag the sidebars to get some more real estate. If you notice, the title bar of the form says Form. We can change that to reflect the purpose of a form by changing the text property of a form. To do so, from the Properties pane, I will change the text property to Hello World. Next, we will change the overall font of the form to Sego UI and also bump up the font size to 10. Now, let's select the button control from the Toolbox pane and draw it onto the form. Just like we did for the main form, let's change the text property of the button to something much more PowerShellish in nature. Let's say Invoke Hello World. Great, that looks good. Now, to display the message, we will draw a label on the form. From the toolbox, we will select the label control and draw it onto the form just below the Invoke Hello World button. Again, I will set the text property of the label to a blank value. The reason we are setting it to a blank value is because we're going to change the text of the label to Hello World when the button is clicked. On the left hand side bottom, you can see that there are three WinForm controls we have used so far. The first is the form itself, the second is the button, and the third is the label. Each of these controls can be referenced via the variables whose name is defined by the name property. Next, we need to add an event handler for the button control. An event is a reaction to an action, which in our case is the click action. So when the user clicks on the button, we need to change the text of the label to Hello World. The easiest way to add an event to a control is to simply double click on it. This will add the default event for that control, which in this case of a button is a click event. Let's go ahead and double click on the button. This will take us directly into the script pane and right to the click event code block. PowerShell Studio also provides a helpful comment indicating that this is the region where I need to define my custom PowerShell script, which is pretty useful, I would say. Now, to change the text of the label, all that we need to do is to set the text property of the label to Hello World. Great. Now let's go ahead and save the form. I will save it under my E drive under the projects directory as helloworld.psf. Perfect. Now it's time for us to test our form. To do so, let's go to the Home tab and click on Run. Alternatively, you can also use the keyboard combination of Ctrl plus F5. There we go, the form loads. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the button Invoke Hello World. Wow! Hello World is displayed on the form. Awesome, isn't it? With just a single line of PowerShell code, we were able to build a graphical user interface application. One important thing to note here is that we never wrote the code that is necessary to generate the form and to place the WinForm controls. That was taken care by PowerShell Studio behind the scenes.